From San Francisco, California, this is the Rock and Roll Geek Show. This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name is Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Thursday, August 6, 2020, and it is 5:25 p.m. when I'm recording this. And this is day 4 of the Dog Days of Podcasting, where a bunch of people attempt to do a show a day for the entire month of August. I started on August 2nd. Yesterday was episode 1000, one big 1000 celebration. I got a lot of very nice comments, so thank you very much for those, friends. I really appreciate it. It's very encouraging. So tonight, I am going to do a short one. I've been asking for show reviews from the past since we have not been able to go see shows. Somebody came up with the idea, hey, let's look on setlist.fm of shows that we went to when we were younger and send in show reviews. We'll look at the set list and we will try to recollect it the best we can. And I got an email today from Jeffrey Zelepugas. I've gotten a couple of these so far. I got a Saxon one. I need a lot more, so please keep them coming, friends. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. But this is an email from Jeffrey Zelepugas. I know I'm mispronouncing your name, Jeff, but I apologize. Michael, here is it. Jeffrey Zelepugas. Here is a show review of Led Zeppelin at the Chicago Stadium on April 7th, 1977. It's about 13 minutes in length, not as polished as I would have liked. Thank you for all the entertainment over the years. It's very much appreciated. Keep up the great work. Congratulations on show 1000. Here's hoping for 1000 more. From Jeffrey Zelepugas. Thank you, Jeffrey, for the kind words. I really appreciate it, friend. All right, let's hear his show review.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Zelepugas.
Hey, Jeffrey.
And for the Rock and Roll Geek Show.
By the way, Jeffrey, long-time listener, first-time caller, maybe? Long-time, first-time? I don't know. Maybe first-time.
I'm going to do a concert review of the time I went and saw Led Zeppelin back in April of 1977.
Wow. 77, is that the Presence tour? Let me look and see. Because Led Zeppelin is not my favorite band, so Led Zeppelin... discography. I'll let his comment play while I'm looking this up. That would be a lot more professional.
Basically, review the concert. I was 14 years old at the time. It was 43 years ago. I'm probably going to talk a little bit about camping out for the tickets a few weeks prior. But before beginning, let me take a sip of this fine. Modella.
Yeah,
it's the only beer I have during the quarantine.
Okay. I will take a sip of this fine Tecate. First one of the day.
First, I'll start off talking about waiting in line for tickets. Tickets went on sale.
That's the first one of the day, and boy, that's the best one. You know what they say. 77 is... 1977 would have been BBC Sessions. Song remains the same. Wait a minute. 77. Oh, yeah. Presents came in 76. Into the Outdoor 79. So it was the Presents tour. They were probably a long tour for Presents. Which, by the way, I saw The Song Remains the Same in the movie theater when it came out. Never saw Led Zeppelin, but I went with my stepdad to see Song Remains. My stepdad and probably my friend Mike Brown, longtime friend of the Rock and Roll Geek Show and friend of mine since I was a kid. All right, back to you, Jeffrey Zelepugas.
16 of 1977.
I'm going to back it up a little bit. I'm talking all over.
First, I'll start off talking about waiting in line for tickets. Tickets went on sale 3/16 of 1977, and folks lined up probably
Good
3
memory.
days prior.
Huh.
Showing up on Sunday for a Wednesday 10 a.m. box office opening.
Huh.
This was my first concert experience.
Of course, back when you had to get tickets, either at we got tickets at Peaches or was it Coconuts Records. The only place you could buy tickets were either at the venue or at the record store and the record store was usually an ticket outlet, and the record store we had to go to was Coconuts Records, which was in like people had Peaches Records, something like other ones like that, but we had Coconuts Records because we were in Florida. But yeah, I remember waiting for tickets just like that.
And there were some cool things I saw and some not so cool things that I saw. But I definitely got hooked and was excited about seeing multiple shows after this. So on Sunday, like I mentioned, people were lining up, and there were some news stories that, maybe 100 or 200 people were starting to get in line, and the police were starting to show up and putting up barricades. And by the next day, Monday, the 14th of March, there was close to 1,500 people, according to...
Wow. And how old did you say you were? You were 14 years old, and your mom let you camp out for 3 days in front of a record store, in front of the venue. Because usually these venues are not in the best parts of town.
The news articles at the time, there was more police, there was more barricades, and people were out there partying. And
good times.
By Tuesday, the 15th of March, there was up to 2,500 people there. We got there at about 4 o'clock.
That's great.
We camped overnight.
Oh, you got there on Tuesday.
The scene was a trip, to say the least. All kinds of drugs.
Chicks taking their tops off.
Acid pills.
Yeah.
And booze beyond
14
belief.
years old.
It was a big party, just waiting in line to get to the show.
How much fun is that, friends? Nowadays, they don't even do that anymore. You used to wait in line for 3 days for the new iPhone. Did they wait in line for anything? I guess Star Wars.
Some of the weird things that I saw while waiting in line. Obviously, there was boatloads of counterfeit concert T-shirts.
Oh yeah, which oftentimes were better than the official T-shirts.
I saw a guy buy some Black Beauties. He took the Black Beauty. He vomited the Black Beauty up. And
was Black Beauty speed, or that's a barbiturate? I don't know. I never took Black Beauties. I took Quaaludes though, and Placidils.
Then he went and fished through the vomit to find the Black Beauty again and digest it. And
oh God,
that's a memory I'll never be able to remove.
That's good times. That is good times. And no doubt he probably thought several solid chunks of his puke were a Black Beauty, so he's picking out solid chunks of puke.
More police started showing up, mounted police and more barricades, and the line probably went on, 3-4 blocks. There was even some Jesus freaks
Zeppelin is
evangelizing the crowd and asking us to turn from our wicked ways and follow Jesus. And, it was harmless, yet there was some humorous interactions that ensued between the freaks and the other freaks. So on Wednesday, day of the show, the line was getting bigger, and the box office was scheduled to open up at 10 a.m. on the 16th, of
wait a minute.
March.
So this wasn't to buy tickets. This was to get in the show. You already had your ticket.
77. There was a 2-ticket limit, and I'd say,
tickets.
Early in the morning, 8:30ish, maybe, tension started to arise between the cops and those who were waiting in line to buy the tickets. There was line jumping and pushing, and there was some crowd, surging, and around 9:30.
Because people who cut in line, people have been there for 3 days, and then you got some stoner schmucks who just show up and they start cutting in line. At the last minute. That's not good.
There was a huge forward surge towards the box office that occurred. Police came in, started using batons and horses to get the crowd back in order. And I'd say maybe after about 30, 40 minutes, the police and the ticket buyers were kind of at a happy medium, but tensions were still there. About 90 minutes later, we got our tickets and we went home and anticipated going to the show. So just in total, in doing a little research on the show, about 30 people were arrested for disorderly conduct. public urination, intoxication,
Chicago. Keep in mind, this is Chicago now.
unlicensed merch sales.
Oh, they got busted for unlicensed merch sales.
What was really astonishing that there was no injuries reported. Now, they may have happened, they just weren't reported. And I'm going to post some pictures out on the Facebook site of
Yes, please do,
all
Jeff.
the trash, abandoned tents and chairs and sleeping bags.
Awesome.
And bottles and cans. And it just, went on and on and on. And, it probably was enough to fill probably, 4 or 5, garbage trucks, with all the abandoned stuff. But,
Well, yeah, some good tents and some good chairs and stuff.
needless to say, we had our tickets, and a few weeks went by, and the date of the show.
You hear that? This dog, I don't know if you listened to last night's episode. My dog was howling the entire time. He's still howling. He misses his female, his harem of women, of girls. My wife is gone, and my 2 female dogs are gone. And the male dog, who is not fixed, he's intact. He means he's still got his balls. He's been crying and howling the entire time since they left yesterday morning.
At the Chicago Stadium, it was April 7th, 1977, at 8 o'clock. We got there around 6 o'clock with my
Anybody open?
brothers and some friends, and we had some beers and some smoke. And
Yeah, 14
we got
years
to our
old.
seats around 7:30, and the Chicago Stadium was already filled with sweet-smelling smoke. And I estimate, 18,000 people based on
An arena show.
being a sold-out show, and I believe that was the capacity of that particular barn at the time. The show started a little bit late, maybe 20 minutes, after 8 o'clock. And, during, those 20 minutes of waiting for the show, crowd was chanting and whistling, and, for the show to begin. And audience was a bit edgy, but festive. There was balloons and beach balls bouncing around, and people smoking left and right and drinking their snuck in beer and wine. And, it was...
We snuck in. It was hard to sneak in beer, but we snuck in Southern Comfort. That was our drink of choice that we snuck in, and we poured in a warm Coke. I told the Boston story many times, but yeah, lots of puke happening.
Definitely an edgy crowd, and we sat stage left in the lower bowl on a diagonal with a slightly obstructed view of John Paul Jones. And
Big deal.
they came out, the show began, and it was a long show. It was my first show, but lasted, maybe up to 3 hours.
So no opener. Zeppelin did the show themselves, just Zeppelin.
Maybe about 20 songs. I'll post the set list that I got off Set List FM. But they opened up the show with Song Remains the Same.
I had a dream. Okay.
Into Sick Again, and then
Into what? Sick Again? I don't know that
followed by
one.
Nobody's Fault But Mine. And
Nobody's fault but mine.
there was the following song was In My Time of Dying, and
I don't know that
what I
one.
remember most about that song was Page had his slide out and was showing us his ability to lay down some blues yet rock sensibilities to his guitar playing that the audience appreciated.
One thing about, like I said, I'm not a huge Zeppelin fan, but you got to give it to Jimmy Page. He was a cool-looking guitar player. He was a great rock performer, and of course, John Paul Jones boring, but although his bass playing, whenever the Butlers want to do a Zeppelin tune, I dread it because John Paul Jones' bass playing is like really difficult to play, but yeah, good band to watch. I'm just not a big fan of the music.
That was followed by Since I've Been Loving You, and
Since I've been loving you, I twice if for one man be something like that.
a great song for Robert Plant to focus on his chops, and that song ended, and the stage began to fill up with an
Now, is this could be the exact same set as the Song Remains the Same movie? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
really underlit, dry ice-filled stage as John Paul Jones performed an extended opening keyboard solo for No Quarter.
What is it? Oh. She holds no quarter. Something like that.
Which was a crowd favorite,
Yeah,
and really set the
Close the door, put out the lights. You know we won't be home tonight.
tone for the rest of the show. Following No Quarter, they went to the front of the stage and they all sat down and
acoustic.
what appeared to be kind of an unplugged acoustic set with 10 Years Gone.
You got to keep in mind now, this is Zeppelin at their prime. This is when they're at the peak of popularity. After that they did Coda or something like that and Into the Outdoor. But this is when they were at their peak.
Battle of Evermore and Going to California.
Going to California with a minute
Black
in my
Country Woman,
heart.
if the set list is accurate. I don't remember that. But for the Battle of Evermore, John Paul Jones sings the backing harmonies that typically are done by Sandra Denny on the album. But it appeared that
Good
John
knowledge.
Paul Jones was taking on those backup singing roles, and it was a great performance. They jumped into Barnyard Stomp, White Summer, Black Mountainside combo song.
I don't know that
Into
one.
Kashmir, to everybody's pleasure. And then
I don't know these songs.
they went into Plant left the stage. And they went into Moby Dick.
Oh yeah. Then comes the solo, drum
and,
solo.
John Bonham went into an extended drum solo, and playing first with the sticks, and then with his hands, and put on display.
Which, by the way, no drum riser, right? Just played on the floor.
It seemed to go on and on forever.
Yeah.
But people seemed to enjoy it. That was followed by a guitar solo by Jimmy Page. It was
Which
cool.
was that when he would do the theremin? I don't remember what song in theremin.
Really disjointed, I'd say. Perhaps there was 5 segments of that solo, and it seemed like he was showing off some of his chops. It was sloppy at times.
Well, yes, Joe Perry. What's his name? Jimmy Page. Yeah. Did I mention I'm the rock and roll geek? Jimmy Page was known for being a sloppy guitar player, but he damn sure looked cool.
The interesting thing about that was the use of the bow, both strumming and hitting and stroking the Les Paul, all while being inside of a
lasers, yeah.
pyramid.
Yep, that was Song Remains the Same.
Projected over the top of him, onto the stage.
Cool
and,
look.
That laser pyramid rotated, to the rhythm of his playing.
Yeah.
After the solo, they went into Achilles' Last Stand, and
by the way, Jeff, you have great knowledge of something that happened when you were in your young teens.
The place went nuts as the opening chords, the Stairway to Heaven, broke out.
Yeah.
The thing I'd like to say about that was there was kind of an off-book singing by Plant, in where he gets to the line in the song, and the forest will echo with laughter.
And the forest will echo with laughter.
Follows that up with does anybody remember forests?
I like that. That's good. Does anybody remember forests? I like that because in the live album, does anybody remember laughter? So I like forests. That's good, clever.
And with his little hand twist, to ask us if we had considered remembering the laughter. They left the stage, what seemed to be, 15, 20 minutes. Crowd got restless.
They had to get laid. They had to beat a girl with a fish. They had to do a lot of coke, drink a little bit.
But they, jumped back on stage and jumped right into rock and roll, and the place went nuts.
Been a long time since
the song didn't last very long. I mean,
short song.
Following that song, I'm told by folks that were at the show that there was some booing going on with the crowd. We didn't really hear that as much as we were, on our way out.
That was it.
To leave the venue.
Because they only did the one little encore, huh? No Celebration Day, no Black Dog. A lot of songs people wanted to hear, they didn't play.
To get back to our car. Now, what's interesting, the show the following night was cut short, maybe an hour into the show. My brother and a friend of mine had gone to that show. And I think maybe after 6 or 7 songs, Page actually took a chair and it seemed to be he wasn't doing so good, and finished that song, and then they announced that the show was going to be canceled, and that they honor tickets at a future show, and it turns out that they added 2 shows in August, but those shows never happened because Plant's son had died. And I think the last show was in Day on the Green back
Oakland,
in July
Oakland.
of '77, and that ended up being their last, U.S. gig. They scheduled some shows, after that, as probably everyone's aware, and that's when Bonham died, and the band was
kaput.
no more. So from a value for value perspective, I thought I'd give my review of the show. And I appreciate Michael Butler for doing this podcast and allowing folks to do show reviews. And I really appreciate it. And stay frosty, my friend.
Stay frosty, friend. That's value for value, friend. You can donate. That's one way to give value. If the show is any value to you, you can donate. You can leave me a donation. Go to rockandrollgeek.com, hit donation. Or if you don't want to donate, you can do a show review of a show you went to in the past. If you get any value, that's a good way to add value to this show. You're giving me content. Thank you so much, Jeff Zelepugas. Never met Jeff before, and I never even knew he existed. So it's nice to hear a show review from, pardon me, I'm burping. It was fine, Tecate. It's nice to hear a show review from somebody who I didn't know who was a friend of the show. So nice to meet you, Jeff. And I appreciate the great show review. Good memory for someone, something that happened so long ago. That sounds like a good time, though, man. Yeah, I don't know about Zeppelin. They were maybe losing interest. Who knows? It was a weird time back. 77, wow, what a great year for rock and roll that was, man. 70s were the best time. Please leave your show reviews, friends. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Record them, send it to me. Like I said, have one more. Somebody sent me a Saxon review, which I'll do later on during this dog days, maybe in a day or two. Maybe tomorrow, who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but yeah, thank you for that, Jeff. I really appreciate it. Here's how you can find the show, rockandrollgeek.com. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Don't ask. Send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, with whatever comments you have, show reviews, whatever. Thank you for listening, friends. Please keep the donations coming, because without your donations, this show would die horrible, putrid, stench-filled. John Bonham. All right, enough of that. What am I going to close out? Let's do a song. How about, somebody posted this on the forums, or not the forums, but Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page, which I did not create, but I do approve. People just got to answer 2 questions so that I know you're not Alex Jones. Okay. Somebody posted a video of Ace Frehley doing Space Truck, and he's got a new album coming out called Origins Volume 2, I think, and this is on it, I think. Video is hilarious. It is a animated video, and I think Ace Frehley has a good sense of humor, and I think this is a good version of a Deep Purple tune. Here's Ace Frehley doing Space Truckin'. Thank you for listening, friends. I will talk to you tomorrow with Day 5 of the Dog Days of Podcasting.
We're meeting It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.